How to set your sales KPI so that you can achieve the sales result that you want.
Take effing action, put it together, and subscribe to Tom Peng's channel on YouTube now. Yeah, I like it. It's crazy.
Today is the national holiday, but I'm still in the office working as I should. Right? There's no holiday for me. And actually, it's getting dark outside, as you can see, and you can't see through the window anymore because we actually put a tint on the window. So you see a reflection. But if you actually go near the window, you see a beautiful airport outside. So today I'm going to talk about sales KPI. So if you're a sales leader, sales manager, sales director, somebody, running a sales team, you need to set the KPI for yourself, for your team members. And what are some of the best practices that you can use to make sure that those KPIs help you build successful results, meaning more money coming into the company? I've run many sales teams, over the last 30 years in Canada and elsewhere. And I'm very fortunate when I run sales teams in Canada because really they require little or no supervision because people are very driven, they're very focused. And usually salespeople, they talk a lot and they drink a lot and they're very focused and they want to close deals, they want to win. And that's the kind of salespeople mentality and characteristics that I see, in salespeople in Canada, right? So generally, when I run a sales team in Canada, they require very little supervision and you just set a very simple KPI. I want you to drive $100,000 a month. And they will find a way to do it, right? They will build their pipeline, they'll build their sales presentation, they will go visit the customers, they will follow up, and they will close those deals, right? So really, I didn't have to do too much to make it happen because salespeople are very driven, they are very motivated, they can manage themselves. And fast forward 30 years, I came to Vietnam and started having my own sales teams again. Back in 2016, I've been running sales teams for 4 years now in Vietnam, and there are a lot of challenges, right? The revenue KPI doesn't work anymore. If you just tell the salespeople, hey, go make 1T in sales this month, it's not gonna happen, right? Most people, they fail before they start. They give up after 3 phone calls. They don't follow up. They don't understand what a pipeline is. They never use the CRM. They don't believe and they don't practice a good sales process. It's very difficult in Vietnam to run a successful sales team. And I have struggled with that for the last 4 years. And I can tell you, I haven't really found the solution yet. I'm still struggling, but I want to share with you what I believe to be some of the right things to do when you set your KPI. And this is what I'm doing today to help drive my sales teams to results. So one is, of course, sales is all about money. You must have a revenue KPI, meaning that, the team must bring in how much money. Each salesperson must bring how much money. It's all about money. Your business is about money. Without money, your business would not survive. Without closing deals, without bringing money, the salespeople, they have no commission and they will not last very long in your company, right? So it is very important that salespeople bring in money for the company. It's good for the salespeople and it's good for the company. But if you just tell them 1T a month, they will give up before even trying. And that is very typical in Vietnam. And I say this, not to say Vietnam is bad. I say this because I think we have a very young workforce. It's compared to Canada, the workforce is more mature. Like there's a lot of people much older compared to Vietnam. The people, in the workforce are less than 30 on average, right? 30 years old. So, they really haven't had much sales experience. They really haven't had much work experience, and they're probably not mentally mature yet. So this is why, just by giving a revenue KPI to a Vietnamese sales team or salesperson, it's not going to work. I tried it, it didn't work, right? So usually what happens is that they give up immediately and they quit the next day, or they try a few things and then they give up, right? People give up very, very fast here. So revenue KPI by itself is not sufficient. So what we do next is we add a behavioral KPI. So we tell salespeople, hey, you have to make 20 calls, 50 calls, 100 calls, right? So you must meet a call KPI, number of calls to satisfy daily requirement. Because remember, no calls, no order. No calls, no deals, right? You must make phone calls. You must reach out and touch the prospect. You must tell the prospect about your business in order to have sales, right? If they're not calling, there's no deals, right? So in order to get them to call, so you set a call KPI. Every day you must make, say, 50 calls. So we had that, we had a call KPI. And what we found is that a lot of people, they just do the calls, right? So let's say we have 50 calls, right? Everyone will make 50 calls, but the quality of the calls may not be so good. Maybe they just call some random people and make those 50 calls. Maybe the calls are just like 1 second or 2 seconds. So of course, now the KPI has to change, right? Because obviously we want to be a successful company. We cannot have a team of salespeople making 1 second phone calls, 50 of them, because they don't really serve the company purpose, and the salespeople are not going to get any commission from that. So we changed the KPI again. So this time you have to make, let's say, 20 calls over 1 minute. So because now we add a duration, right? Each call must be over 1 minute to count. And then what we found is that people do make those calls, but they make those calls to satisfy the 1 minute condition, right? So they will call maybe another call center and listen to music. After 1 minute, they hang up. We know this because actually our CRM, we can record phone calls. So we can listen to what people say on those calls, and we identify all these problems. People call another company and just wait for 1 minute to pass and they hang up. And that's how they can easily and quickly, do 20 calls over 1 minute in one day. But then those calls are completely useless to the salespeople because they're not making any commission, and it doesn't help the company at all because we're not making any sales. So now, I of course talk to my peers, I talk to other people, other leaders, managers that run sales teams in Vietnam, and they tell me, Tom, you cannot do call numbers, you have to do call duration. So 2.5 hours or 3 hours a day. They must be on the phone 2.5 hours, 3 hours a day. Eureka, right? So now we have a new KPI, behavioral KPI. Everyone has to make 150 minutes of call time, call duration every day. Is it popular? Of course not. Salespeople are used to making 21-minute calls, and now we ask them to make 2.5 hours in call time. It is not a popular move, but it is necessary because for this company to be successful, our salespeople must reach prospects, real prospects, not just like making these fake phone calls. It's not good for the salespeople. They learn nothing from it. They are not building their skills. They're not developing professionally. And for this company, for my company, we are not producing sales, right? So we have this new policy. It's going to come into effect. I know some people don't like it, but we are a business. We must do what's right for the business, because if the business dies, nobody has jobs, right? We're going to try that out. In the ideal world, I don't want to have a behavioral KPI. I want you to be able to do whatever you want as long as you bring in sales in. If you can bring sales in, if you can bring money in, I don't really care what you do, right? You make calls, you don't make calls, you go visit customers, you don't visit customers. As long as you can bring in the deals, as long as you can bring in the money, I don't really care what you do. But until salespeople can bring in the money, we are going to have behavioral KPIs, because it is kind of necessary right now to get salespeople to call prospects. Without that, we cannot be a successful company. And I hope this also helps other leaders, managers in the sales profession that, think about how you set your KPI to drive your salespeople, to achieve results. And if you have some tips and you know how to, get a sales team to work and produce results, please contact me. We can share some, tips and advice with each other, maybe, right? Take fucking action and set those sales KPIs and don't be a fucktard.